Over 500,000 small businesses close every single year, and one of the biggest reasons is because of large corporations dominating the market, and these are the Serta counting sheep. Their purpose is to help you fall asleep. We've all heard of counting sheep to fall asleep. Well, that's these guys. They are the actual physical manifestation of counting sheep. Their herd is the mascot for Serta, the mattress company. Calling them a mascot isn't quite right. More like anti-mascots, because they despise the brand. On the surface, they're just angsty, unemployed little sheep, but in actuality, there is a greater narrative being told, detailing the immoral corruption and dishonesty of corporate America, and the dangers of disruptive innovation and big box retailers. While it may sound a little like the 83rd Pokemon, it's not. Serta is the oppressive fist of imperialism, and the sheep are the downtrodden proletariat. You think them being sheep was just a coincidence? The sheep are led by number 1. His entire flock goes house to house every night and jump in front of the owner's bed until they fall asleep, and then move on to the next house. Like a bunch of Christmas carolers or certain types of witnesses, except people actually want them there. There's at least 101 of these guys, so he has quite the entourage, giving Pongo and Perdita a challenge. Mostly all houses have these guys, as they are hired, even contractually, like a mariachi band or birthday clowns, or those ladies with fur coats and deep voices. They are there to perform a service, but unlike the prior listed, they do one thing only, and that's jump. They had many clients. They had a very reliable source of income. Every house on the block, every home in the town. They knew the residents, they knew their kids, their cousins. They were all like family, and to a point, they might have been considered family. That all changed one day. The mattress company Serta metaphorically put their foot in the door and began selling their ultra-comfy mattresses faster than Cabbage Patch Dolls in 1983. Spreading faster than 2020, soon everyone had one. A product so immaculate with profound efficiency. Everyone fell asleep instantaneously, incinerating the annoyance of melatonin, glasses of warm milk, and most importantly, these poor mother flockers. Their unemployment was imminent, but it was more of a slow burn. Their future was bleak, but at least their job didn't just disappear. The sheep were not being told their clients were switching to Serta, so they would show up to their houses and be forced to face reality. The now ex-clients would inform them they weren't necessary anymore, but the sheep rebelled, as they should. The sheep would become verbally combative and would bicker back and forth with their former clients. When this clearly didn't resolve anything, the sheep resorted to other tactics. So using pathos and synthetic groveling, they introduced their families. They have wives and babies, and they showed them all to their clients in hopes they won't kick them to the curb. Pulling on their heartstrings worked occasionally, putting a bit of change in their wool pockets so the kids don't go hungry, or so they don't have to live in a washing machine box on the street, or even worse, a mattress box. They admit that they faked their hardship and crying to get the gig, but eventually, this won't be so fake. They are becoming desperate. Putting the fear of poverty on display like a third-grade diorama is only hurting them. They are just moving furniture on the Titanic. Nothing is stopping this sinking ship. Coming to terms with their bleak future, they try to hire in at a clinic for insomniacs, but never make it to day one, as Serta swoops in and helps the insomniacs. Who are we supposed to feel bad for? The sheep just lost an opportunity, but the big corporation just helped a ton of suffering people. The moral quandaries are more plentiful than their subservient boundaries. When the begging doesn't go in their favor, they use methods that would be frowned upon in most eyes of the law, some weird spin-off version of extortion. They are denied their job by a couple, and then they reveal the husband is playing hooky from work and golfing instead, so he is forced to the couch, giving the sheep a job. Their obsequious ways and sycophancy become something of the past, a mere memory of something that once aided them. When they find that the doorknobs no longer turn and the shutters shuttered, their entry into the house is now prohibited, so they teeter on the edge of crime and raise a raucous at night, creating a cacophony of bleats directed to the bedroom and harassing the people, causing a public disturbance. The stress of the crumbling sheep economy is weighing on their tiny little minds. They are losing their temper. Pedic. Their followers, they do what they're told. They aren't capable of thinking outside the box. They are automation. They are mechanical. Their cookie-cutter lives have now expanded outside the container, and excess has nowhere to go but to boil over. They begin to rise up. Their fight hits the pedestrians first. They cross the line into stalking and obsessiveness. The humans are customers. They aren't at fault. The mattresses are cheaper and quicker to fall asleep with. Why buy 6 colored pens when you can buy this thing for half the price? Tensions are getting taut, and the crime spree has begun. With their temper boiled over, they threaten to rip up the mattress. That's when number 8 rips off the do not remove under penalty of law tag, and since alleged action was committed, all other sheep in the room were accomplices, getting every single counting sheep arrested and locked behind bars. They eventually get out one way or another, perhaps bail, but that only rips more money from them. Their jail stay signifies a pivotal moment for the flock. The lack of jobs begins to tear relations. Trust is wavering, all of them on edge that another might accept a job before the other. Some of the sheep happen to say a few semi-pro Serta comments, which leads to a distrust in said sheep, but nothing compared to what 86 does. If you can't beat them, join them. Jim Serta Jones offers his Kool-Aid to 86 and he drinks it. He realizes what the customers see. You cannot unrealize a moment. The Jonestown comparison is not fair, however. Serta isn't a cult, a business making everyone's lives easier. A product so fantastic and comforting, you'd be stupid not to want it. Why make things harder for yourself? And 86 finally realizes this. He switches sides and likes the Serta mattress. But lest we forget, good and evil is just perspective. To quote Shakespeare, himself the primrose path of dalliance treads. 86 has walked the primrose path. The quote doesn't entirely work for this situation, but it's close enough. His flock finds out. With their increased recidivism, they murder 86. They kill him. In block terms, he hit the ground too hard. But the worst offense yet, the cataclysmic event for the U crew, a delivery driver. The paratroopers of corporate deliver a brand new, fresh, untouched Serta mattress. The temptations are so strong they're singing My Girl. Like that new jar of peanut butter, the seal is waiting to be broken. The sheep do it. They take one hit and they are addicted. All of them but one. The strongest one of them all. He will not give in. Everything has been taken from him. He has nothing left now. What good is one counting sheep? He can only work for babies because they can't count higher. One didn't lose every single soldier that day. He has a few left. However, I bet his trust in them is nearly diminished. The sheep begin directly attacking Serta. They call the stores. They threaten them over the phone. They steal mattresses. They chew through the electrical to the buildings. If it can prevent just one mattress sale, it would be worth it to them. The sheep chewing the wires are risking their lives. Jolts as strong as they are receiving are fatal, and they are willing to do it for their cause. They are noble and better people than the suit wearers could ever be. And they're not even people. When breaking the law doesn't go in their favor, siding with the law might. They try to hire a lawyer to fight for them, but this goes unresolved. The judicial system has failed them. The entire judicial branch will never be on their side, so they go to the executive branch. However, at the time, he wasn't president. Donald John Trump. But he is not on their side. He is the biggest businessman in America. He has already partnered with Serta for a Trump mattress collection. However, in an act of kindness, he offers to employ the unemployed. While it may not be a desired job, it's a job nonetheless. The job would be talking statues, greeting the guests as they enter their room. Most of the sheep happily take up Mr. Trump's offer. However, Number 1 refuses, despite claiming mere seconds ago to Trump that people will never count sheep again. This was an opportunity for all of the sheep to gain their footing back. Number 1 proceeds to insult the sheep that took the job, questioning where his dignity went. He may appear all stoic in this situation, that he will not work for a lesser job, but now his actions are superfluous. He's now denying work. Is this a problem with big business now? Are they still to blame for the unemployment? Number 1 would prefer to stand on his grandiose pedestal while other jobless mascots take that kind of job. There's one thing they without a doubt took from Trump's book, and that is running for president, way back in 2008. But this doesn't go far at all. I'm sure it was lack of funding, due to their constant defaming of corporate America. No way would corporate America put someone like them in charge. So they did what they do best and fund the other candidates. Not that they could really do that yet in 2008 because of Citizens United, but whatever. They settle for the next best thing. They pretend to be president. Not the American president, but their archenemy, Serta. They pose, albeit poorly, as the president of Serta to try and sabotage them. But at this point, nothing can be done to stop the Serta revolution. The customers will still consume. Why should they care about a few hundred sheep that they will never see? It doesn't affect them in any way. Do they feel sympathetic? Do they care for them? Sure they do, but why would they go out of their way that will only hurt them both financially and possibly physically? Why should they suffer a worse night's sleep for a bunch of sheep that at this point are choosing not to work? They tried to find work at that clinic and gave up after one failure. Hey, what video is this? The Serta one? Alright, just checking. What are you doing here? Don't worry about it, it'll all make sense. Okay. They finally realize the world that once cared for them and their unfortunate situation is done catering to them. And in an attempt to fix it, they protest. The sheep have no money. Their children need braces and daddy's laziness can't afford it for them. They chew up pamphlets to do nothing anymore. They can't stop it. They chew up a mattress. When something like this was done before, it was seen as a heroic act of protest. Now it's just vandalism. Now with the Serta sheep being complete and utter failures, they split up. Some choose to get a job. 55 became a speed sign. A few of them became car washers. And the rest submitted. Succumbed to the harsh society only the most basic people survive. It doesn't take much, and they don't give it. They let their woes of corporate America cloud their heads. Throw all thinking out the window, not even willing to hear opposition, only ever spewing gish gallop. Their fidelity to their cause is steadfast, until it isn't. They cannot handle the incessant phantom flogging anymore. Now their anxiety is married with depression, and they finally realize that they have overstayed their welcome. They begin drinking and binge eating. Their downward spiral is worse than Resner's. They sit and wallow at the bar. Their sadness and self-pity has reached its peak. 90 was arrested. 53 gets so bad he can't perform anymore, probably in both ways. They eventually devolve to voyeurs, watching the humans have fun. And then the problems were solved. Something all of a sudden shifted. What did they do? They finally gave in and realized the grass is greener on the other side. Stop fighting the enemy and unite with them. Like 86, if you cannot beat them, join them. The counting sheep are the Serta sheep now. They love laying on Serta mattresses. Once they finally stopped fighting them, they became employed by them. They helped the humans use them. One human managed to get one of them as a pet. That opens up a whole other conversation. A self-aware, intelligent creature shouldn't be kept as a pet, but we're not talking about that. She goes to take said sheep to get groomed, but in fear, the sheep ran. And where do we run to in fear? Home. Or a home-like feeling. But what is home to this Serta sheep? A Serta mattress. Now that the sheep have switched sides, they are worshipped. They are given their own fortress with golden sheep statues on the outside. It looks like the fortress is in the middle of the ocean, but no. If you look closely, it is on top of memory foam. Inside is a mattress factory, where the sheep operate machines. The ad takes us to the atomic level inside the mattress, and it's quite the revelation. This is why the sheep hated Serta. Not because they were taking their jobs, but because the sheep are the mattress. Inside the mattresses are .001 sheep and others in this thousandth scale. The sheep didn't hate Serta because they were breaking them down mentally and financially. They hated Serta because they were breaking them down physically, splitting their bodies apart into thousands of little sheep. The statues on the outside weren't honorary statues in the sheep's glory, they were in memoriam statues. The other sheep still working either don't know what's happening or they are willingly destroying their counterparts. Maybe these cloaked sheep are 86 and the ones that were mocked for working for Trump. Maybe they are happy, number one, and the others who once hurt them will now forever be broken down into millions of pieces, stuck in a mattress memory foam hell. Maybe I shouldn't have been so critical on these poor sheep. Oh well.